Hello and welcome to Andertons Music. I'm here with Gareth and a brand new keyboard. We've got the Roland FA-06. There'll also be an FA-08, but we're going to look at it left to right. Roland FA-06.
Yeah, we've got, this is our new baby, the FA-06 and the FA-08, 61 key and an 88 weighted version of this keyboard as well. This is our new workstation. It's based, all the sounds are based on the Roland Integra.
Yeah.
So if you picture the Integra in your head and how the studio sets are set up with 16 sounds at a time, it works exactly the same way, only the difference is now these 16 sounds are basically turning this into a multi-timbral 16 sound at a time keyboard.
Which is pretty badass.
Which is badass. So, ask away.
Ask away. That's great. I know it sounds good because I love the sound of the Integra.
Yep.
I said we go at it left to right, so let's look at the left. I've got this little kind of voyeuristic camera that I'm going to have a look, and it's entitled Sound Modify section.
Yeah, so what we've got here is, if I was to just pick any sound on the keyboard, I can pick a sound here and just change screens. You can see some sounds are single sounds, some sounds are double sounds, which is dual.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll go. I love that bit.
Yeah, but basically any sound I pick, I can use all the 6 top row, which is cut off resonance. Then the next row down, I can just press a button, come to an EQ for the whole setup. Then I can assign, if I'm using other softwares, or assign in different parameters. And then at the bottom, I've got compressors, tones. So I've got 24 basically that I can access at a time.
The most special button on this, because we had a little look through it just before, was this split and dual button here. And I love this. So if we could, most people are going to start off with one sound.
Yeah.
So if we start off with a piano sound.
So if we start off with just a regular piano sound here, in fact what I'll do is I'll just scroll it right back to the top. Yeah. Just pick a piano sound. And we've got electric pianos or acoustic pianos.
And for all the people, can we go for an acoustic piano and we'll just have a listen to that as well?
Okay.
We've got to hear it.
We'll come right to the top. Different types, electric and then acoustic.
That is the full grand.
And I can scroll down. No, that's cool. I can scroll down hundreds of different acoustics, pop pianos, grand pianos, etc.
That's great.
Yeah.
Super. So we started off with that. And then they want to do a split.
Okay, so you just click the split button there, and the screen will change to 2 different sounds.
This is really cool. So I love this screen.
So I've got the piano now, and at the left-hand side, I've got phaser strings. If I want to change any of these, I just come across and either dial it or use a category button to pick whichever category I want to run in through. So I can run through each different type, and then I can scroll right the way back to the top. Cool. And start off where we were.
And show me what we did. So we went split, and then so we've got a little split one, but we do dual.
So if I do, that's the split, where we've got a metal pad now and a piano, so they're split. If I do dual now, it's an automatic layer of 2 sounds.
Brilliant, cool. And then 2 together, there's a little thing underneath it that says, I've just got studio, hang on, I'm on the wrong thing. Studio set.
Yeah, studio set, this is a cool thing.
This is where it kicks it into overdrive.
This is where it turns the keyboard into 16 instruments at a time, layered or split all the way across the keyboard. And as you can see, the screen now shows the 16 different instruments and you can assign to it.
This is really good.
So if you imagine this also like a combination, a 16 instrument combination.
And I said, look, you could go to town. So if you were really into having a super fat brass patch, you could stack 16 on top of each other, or 8 on one side, 8 on the other, and really combine or big synth sounds, especially
synth sounds, because you can even split the oscillators. So if every synth tone is made out of 3 oscillators, and there's 16 synth tones with 3 oscillators, you could even split the individual oscillators as well as the 16 different tones. So you've got
massive.
It's cool. And then obviously down this side of the keyboard as well, you've got transpose.
And one other new button, this door control. Should we do this?
This door, because it obviously is a workstation.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to have this as a controller, because this keyboard is a MIDI interface and audio interface built into it as well. So if I wanted to control, for instance, if I press this, you'll see Logic Pro.
Oh, this is really cool.
Logic Pro. Sonar, Cubase, and basically what that does is it automatically sets all the parameters to your computer.
because you've broken the shackles of Sonar, so you've
we
got all
have.
these
So
cool
we've got a bit of freedom now to actually go through other DAW systems as well.
Nice.
And it basically sets up the computer and the keyboard to automatically talk to each other as far as the control.
So transport all work,
Exactly.
start.
Yeah.
And like you said, the pads for you were. We'll get to. They've been working as well with main stage.
They're working brilliantly as main stage
So it's
triggers
great.
as well.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the left side, and of course we've got our D beam. We couldn't go without the D beam, which is assignable. So it's great if you wanted to assign some breaks to an
It's
organ
signable
sound.
and excitable.
Exactly.
And in here, I must say personally, the screen is incredibly detailed.
High res.
Yeah, high resolution. It's not massive,
Yeah.
but if someone went, oh god, that's a bit, it's not small at all. It's very clear to see everything. So if you were a bit, had some cod eyes or whatever, you put your glasses on, and and it's incredibly detailed. You've got everything. You can see all the splits and layers.
Yeah.
It's very much like a high resolution of the old Phantom G for me.
Yes.
But a smaller screen, but even greater resolution.
Yeah,
So
it is a smaller screen and better resolution than that, and it's very clear. I mean, it's very easy to get around it as well because the shift button, as usual, is God for Roland.
Yeah.
And it allows me to go into so for instance, that first tone is a synth tone.
Yeah.
So if I was to hold the shift button down and then just tone edit, I've got all my editors, the full
each
analog
oscillator.
modeling, each oscillator. So there's 7 different waveforms, 3 variations, up to 3 oscillators per tone.
Wicked.
And all the filters, all the envelopes that we had on the Jupiters, but done in an easier way to read, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then you've got hundreds of PCM waveforms on there as well.
Lovely.
And
I just had a little word because I've got a Jupiter 80 and I love it a lot.
Yeah.
So that's got the iPad
yeah.
for the synthesis. All of this is all done on the screen, and I had a little look because I was a bit sceptical, and it's really easy and oftentimes even clearer. So it's really great little screen. Okay, great synth sounds. Love the synth sounds. You wanted to remark about the favourite button.
Yeah, the what I was using there to find the synth sounds is favourite button. Basically what it is, because there are so many different studio sets in here, combination studio sets, the easiest way to store them in a way of you getting around them is you can store all yours to favourites. So what I've done is I've stored those sounds that you just heard to a favourite bank, and then I can just dial them up, basically. So these are the ones I've stored. They're the title. That's the title at the top.
Because that'd be great.
This is what's going on underneath.
Great
basically.
for a gig or
Really quick way. So if you're assigning every single song to a group of 1 to 9, for instance, you can just dial it up like that.
Super.
So that's basically going on the sound.
And we'll go for some more sounds later because I'm always guilty of talking too much.
Okay.
I'm terribly sorry. Let's go over here to what's. It's good to see some pads.
Yeah, now this side of the keyboard is the bit that gets me, and it gets me excited because
We love excitement.
I'm not a big Workstation fan, normally because they're too complicated, they take too long to load up.
Yeah.
And I tend to go to the DAW system, even though in the old days when there was the XP50 I had no choice but to do the small screen. The sequencer, there's 3 different sections in this bit here. One, you've got a drum machine, and you can hit the button there and you'll see the screen change to quite a straightforward, different patterns. If I just press the button, you'll hear one pattern, pattern 2, etc. But then also I've got pretty much every drum kit you can imagine, every style, and then I can go through the different drum kits here.
And these drum sounds, they're really high quality. They're out of the TD30.
Because they're the Integra sounds.
It's an Integra, so that was the thing with the Integra. So really fantastic.
And all the PCM tones. So you got the old copies of the 808s and all the classics and that. So all of those drum patterns, and you can write those patterns as a step pattern as a writer as well. But the cool thing is you can use those, and it's got tap tempo with your song. But it's the sequencer side of this thing which is really, really cool. But what happens is, if I hit the sequencer button here, you can see the basic screen, and you've got 16 instruments. Every single instrument has its own multi-effects, so you're not sharing any effects. They've all got a choice of 67 to pick from, every single one of them. And so this is a blank studio set, this one that's tiled up here. The great thing about the sequencer is it's got this quick loop. So if you get an idea,
you showed me just briefly, and I love that.
Right. So just say I'm on look, electric piano there. Well, I've actually got a combination. So if I actually come out of sequencer mode and just pretend I'm in my normal playing different sounds, and I think, oh, what have I got here? Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that sound. And I just instantly want to go to record. I'm going to hit the record button, and the screen comes up with, do I want to loop this? So as for an idea, and I'll say, yes, 4 bars. Yeah. Do I want to quantize? Yeah, because I'm really bad at my timing. So, and then all I do then is press play, get a 4-bar intro. And we're back. Now, if I press the record button, all it does is takes it out of record, but it leaves it in. I can come to my sequencer page now and see that first sound.
You can see that
is there, and I say let's change another sound, whether it be drums, for instance. So we can go. So I can then press the record button again. It's really quick way, and I can even change sounds on that same track. And I can go through. It'll even quantize my messed up work there, and it'll come back in.
Oh, nice.
So it's really quick way of just getting ideas down, sequences. Now, basically, every single track on here, these 16 MIDI tracks, if I want to work on a DAW system, this will export all 16 tracks immediately as WAVs, stems.
That's nice. So it's actually usable. That age-old thing of people be like, oh, it's dead making music on the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. All of those are pure WAVs or a stereo WAV that you can export as a stereo WAV. So it automatically
so you
exports.
You just get a sketch of it and throw it in.
It's really, really, really cool. And then you've got 100 songs. It's all stored on SD cards, so it's instant load up. It only takes 7.5 seconds to switch the keyboard on, load the samples.
It's really good, actually. I'm a big fan, and I must say, out of some other keyboards out there at the moment, because the Integra sound quality is not to be underestimated. The price point these are coming out, which we'll say in a bit, it really are top-notch sounds. The Kronos, for example, love it, great sounding keyboard, but takes a long time to turn on. There's some workstations out there that we're talking a couple minutes. This was on, and I think you should be really proud of Roland of it. It's on literally in 5-6 seconds.
It's 8 well, look, let's do it. Look,
oh my God, this is exciting.
So the power's off.
Power's off.
Ready? 1,
2, 3, 4, 5,
5.5, 6, 7,
7.5, 8. Yeah, that's really great.
And a song that I loaded earlier is in there. And while it's also on that sequence page, I can actually go into mixer.
Yeah.
I've got a full mixer.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
Now, can I show you something really cool?
Yeah, go on.
I'll tell you what it is. Now, we've always had this ability now with different multi-effects on every single instrument.
Yeah.
But this has got a brand new thing called TFX, and it's total effects. So whatever stage I'm at, whether I'm playing a piano sound or using a sequence or anything like that, Total Effects is another multi-effects bank that runs on top while you're using the 67, from the other tracks and things. It runs on top. If I just hold the shift button down, actually, if I come to menu, I can just pick it up from there. Hit Effects Edit, and we've got our normal effects edit screen.
Oh, that looks very
with the first instrument and whichever multi-effects is picked. Cool. There's reverb, choruses, compressors, and everything for the masters. And then this button here, TFX. Right, and if I press play now, I can scroll through and show you a couple, and there's about 30 on there. Now while that's also playing,
That's a bit limp-wristed.
yeah, while that's playing, you can also record a solo over the top or whatever.
That's great.
But the trouble is, me being a purist, I like my solos to be as big a sound as possible. And I can still only use that one sound at a time, as my solo sound. Or I can layer more than one sound as to the same MIDI channel. Cool. But I like to have the full backing and then another one. And so we've got a sampler built in.
Now this is really cool. So and a lot of people have neglected this on other workstation-y type boards. But this, as I said, it's like if you ever are familiar with a Roland SP-404.
Yeah.
It's like that. I know they don't want to, it's still there and it's great standalone.
Well, it
sampler.
is actually the brains of that sampler.
It's the brains.
Yeah, it is.
And in conjunction with this SD card, which is really cool because they're really reasonable. Yeah, you tell me what you're going to do it.
Right, I'll tell you what it is. You've got the sampler on this. It gives you 16 banks, so you've got to play, and 16 pads, and there's 4 banks of 16 samples per song. So when I load a song,
so in each song, there's a lot of
and incidentally, I'm using the pads here to do the samples, but they could be for numerical diming up of sounds or part editing.
Yeah, I loved it. Can I just see the pad mode? You did that.
Yeah. So if you click on here, there's a pad utility.
Yeah.
So that's the pad utility, which goes green, and then I hit pad mode, and at the moment there's we've got 7 there. So I can use it as a sample pad, a numerical pad to dime up sounds, partial edit for editing tones, and then there's those blank ones. And when I spoke to them in Japan, the experts, I said, what's these blank ones for? And they said, well, what do you want on it?
Yeah, so I'm sure there'll be.
It's all software, modes. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But the other thing is, I use MainStage Live a lot, and the way this can read and learn from MainStage.
Literally MIDI learn in MainStage.
And plus all the other controllers, turning the keyboard.
Yeah, let alone if you've got Ableton.
Yeah,
it's very applicable in live and studio applications massively.
Exactly. So anyway, if we turn the pad utility off, and I say I want to sample a part of that song, I can say right. And I want to loop that, so I can use this. Now I can put a mic or a guitar in the back.
Yeah.
It'll automatically sample anything I play from the keyboard or whatever as well. So as soon as you set it up.
Internal sampling.
Exactly. So it knows. So what I'm going to do is literally sample what I just played on that sequencer, and all I need to do is press sampling, and then it says pick a pad, pick 16. It says there's something already on it. Doesn't matter. And then you get up the sampled track. Now what I'm going to do is use this button here, so as it starts with the pressing play of the song, so I don't need to truncate the beginning. And then that's it. Press stop on the keyboard, on the sampler, and you can see the waveform coming up. Really quick editing.
Can I just say this screen's incredibly high resolution.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Even like on the dinkiest level, there's little pictures, but you can see it's really good.
And I can still zoom in if I want to. I've got the zoom control.
Oh yeah.
For the editing as well, so I've got good control of that. Title it. It's automatically on the SD card already. I don't have to save it.
No.
But I can save it to a different title, and there it is in there. Now, if you're doing a DJ thing.
I mean, that's incredibly musical.
Yeah, you got it, mate. I've heard you play. I knew you could play.
I'm available for gigs. I mean, that type of stuff. That's what people.
Number will come up at the bottom of the screen.
It will.
So basically, those total effects I showed you.
Yeah.
This is where it becomes a DJ's dream. So I've taken the same thing and I've sampled it, but with total effects like beat looper, wah wah. So the same thing, same track. The sequence is not running anymore now, so it's like.
Just trigger that.
These are just triggering parts.
So if you're at a gig. So if you're applications, you're like a wedding band and you had a sample that you wanted to manipulate or just trigger, so Locked Out of Heaven,
or backing vocals.
Backing vocals, you
because it's a 16-track it's a MIDI sequencer, but there's no reason why you can't import all 16 pads for all your BVs. So it's quite cool, and you can hold 4 at a time.
So 4 can be playing at a time.
Yeah. So what happens is you press, for instance, if I've just pressed one hold pad, I can then bring in the other. And then I can put in more in. This is quite cool. I'll just sample one of them. said about you could now play over the top.
Yeah, play over the top.
You can come out. We're out of sequencer mode now anyway. You can come to our favourite bank. Come out of the exit there, so we can say, right, yeah, we're whatever.
Yeah.
We've got our samples in there. Turn that sampler off there. So we've got the tracks in there. Now I can have this.
Every time you play that, I feel like.
Yeah, well, do you know what? It might sound corny, but the sounds. Well,
yeah, they're pretty
I was
good.
just playing it, and I was like, "Oh, this is 80s, 90s stuff." So I was just going through each one. But now you can have that running, and I've sampled the entire song onto one pad there.
Right.
Coming out the sequencing page, my keyboard's back now to do the famous things like. So if I put on favourite band. Let out the guitar. But it means you can use combinations or separate studios.
So you're just triggering audio there.
I've just got the whole backing track sampled.
And you're just playing it.
Yeah, and you're literally just limited to the size of the SD card you put in there.
That's really cool.
So you can just keep putting massive files. They're all .wavs. The keyboard also reads WAV, AIFF files, MP3, and it's also a general MIDI keyboard, which the Jupiters aren't. So if you wanted to use it as a general MIDI playback, it's got really high quality general MIDI sounds.
That's really cool. I'd like to just have a feel of it and a look around. And
let me move out of your way. These are all quite good. So Fat Boy, that's a bass with DB.
Oh yeah. I need to roll my sleeve. Brilliant, cool. Again, my numbers should be across the bottom for gigs. So you've got the football, anthem, pad bashing, and also exposed forearm D-beaming. So, cheers.
If you scroll it to the top.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the top.
And then you can just run through whatever's. There's a few presets.
Make that change.
It's dead, isn't it?
It's gonna happen.
Could have been a gig for you. So that shows a split screen.
Bit of jazz duo. I can play jazz. So you've got lots of applicable.
Yeah. There's like the Integra. There's about 60 preset studio sets. The difference between this and the Integra is it's also got 512 user sets. So you can store an awful lot of editors to the tones or to the actual studio sets. And you've got the arpeggiator from the Jupiter 80 on there as well.
Loads of splits. Slow spin. Okay. This one's for Kevin. Let me lick you up and down. No, that's not gonna happen. That sounds great. One other thing, the only thing you said before, because we just had a little run through us, we were setting up these cameras. I don't know where to look because we're in an underground bunker at the back of Andertons where Lee stores all his money and guitars. We've just got.
It's a nice dead room.
It's a nice dead room, yeah. Alive with gold, almost like the recent Hobbit movie, The Desolation of Smaug.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it. There's a lot of riches and gold stashed away.
Wow.
Bit like the back of Andertons.
I mean, because it's got the full workstation built into it, the click output's it's a must because monitor engineers means it doesn't have to send a separate mix to
it's wicked.
So it's quite a cool thing.
Cool.
There's quite a few different types, and I like the layers just because you can actually make some massive layers. But the bass again, as you showed. Get some nice bass sounds on there. Brilliant pad.
Sounds really good.
organs again are great. So if I switch it off favourites and just put it onto an organ sound, I actually, what I tend to do is use the organ sound with a pedal to actually bring in the.
On the coming,
yeah,
it's quite.
Well,
it's too exciting to stand at the back with
so
my trousers
because
down.
the brake you've got on the mod wheel, but I tend to use that on the. I put that on the pedal normally, and also still there in the background. So you could actually play. It's just really quick and really easy to get around, basically.
Yeah.
So it's anything you.
Can I
pick
just say
on
the
it.
organ sounded really good then?
Oh, they're great. They
That's
really
the
are.
first time I think I've ever had.
And the other thing
Roland.
about this, because
No, I'm like, wow, that organ's really good. Normally got to work for it.
and I can use the different controls as well on board as well.
Sound good. Yeah. Chicken brains.
And then if you want to hit all the organs, you just scroll through them. There's tons.
Oh, I like this. This is like the categories.
They're all on there. There's everything you can imagine because like with the Integra, and then you've also got the not my cup of tea, but you have to have them. So and they really are quite cool actually. So they're big sounds.
There's a chap who works here called Stuart, and that's like his theme music.
He likes a bit of organ.
Yeah, he loves organ.
So you've got all of them on there, and as you can see, just really easy to get around each one in turn. Okay.
We'll have a little bit of strings.
A little bit of strings.
You got to go to GAC, but it'll be all right.
Yeah. Nice strings as well.
Just heard some lovely string patches there. Quick point, there's a big button on the front here. I'll see if I can get it with my rudimentary camera. There we go. It says preview, and that means any patch you're on, you just hit that. So it's a really quick way to audition sounds and see maybe if you'd like to play piano brilliantly what it would sound like. Okay, to conclude on the Roland FA-06, there'll also be a 08. They're going to be incredibly well priced. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that you'll see it on our website. I'm really excited about the price point you're going to come out with. I think it's immaculately well built. I'm just going to do a little bit on build quality because I know it's really boring. The screen is a massive deal breaker in between all the workstations, and I think this is the best one I've seen.
Oh, wicked.
It doesn't have it's not touch sensitive, no. But you really don't miss that in there because the GUI is all really well programmed to the buttons, and like you said, the shift button really whizzes you around there. Fantastic stuff, and it sounds really good. Love the pads, it's really cool. Is there by any chance a demo button on it?
There's a demo button for every single sound, as you showed before, and there is 4 different songs which is showing samples and everything on there.
Can I just choose from the titles?
You can. If there's because if it shows little file,
I've already got it. It's got to be Pythagoras.
Okay.
So thanks, Gareth, for coming down and showing us the Roland FA-06.
No, you're welcome.
Also going to be FA-08. Do you know anything about the action? Is it going to share an action with anything?
The 008 is a full 88 key weighted keyboard. Exactly the same brains inside. So I click load.
So load song. This is
press OK.
Pythagoras. Can I hit play?
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us here today, and come in the store when we got one and try it out.
Kick ass.